The Feminine Pulse Show is a safe and nourishing space
for women who desire to explore their power
and dance with their divine masculine and feminine energies.
We invite you on a journey to embody your feminine,
manifest deeper connections,
and be a catalyst for a harmonious, loving world.
Welcome to the Feminine Pulse Show. Hello, hello, hello. And I am so excited today to be with Laura as we're going to be talking about what are the core feminine principles and why they truly matter to us as women, as men, as a society. And so the 5 core principles that we're going to be really cruising through today in this episode are compassion, cultivate joy, conscious choice, creativity, and connection community. And so let's go through them. Laura.
Oh, this is so juicy. The first one, compassion, you mentioned, is one of my favorites. Because I think of it not only as compassion in the world or for others, but really compassion for yourself. Because the more compassion you have for yourself, the more you'll be able to generate it in the world. So it really involves knowing yourself, and a heart-centered woman is continuously engaged with knowing herself, right? We're like onions, and we have layers upon layers. Have you ever caught yourself saying, I thought I was done with this issue?
Oh, well, many times.
It's not a done. This is who I am. This is a part of you. And so cultivating that inner awareness about this part of you is the greatest thing you can do for yourself, to kind of own it, understand it, embrace it, understand the gift of it, because there's always a gift for whatever we come across in our inner being, whatever we've gone through. And a lot of us have this really interesting voice in our head called the critical one. And when we activate her, that is a sign, or when she gets activated, a sign we need more self-compassion. We need to go and say, no, don't go there. Let's come back to compassion. Because if you're constantly criticizing yourself, you can't get to know yourself. It's a protection from that. Your critical one doesn't want you to know yourself, but it doesn't work. It's bankrupt. So I want to invite everyone to be self-compassionate.
Yeah, and that's so beautiful because it's so true. It's like having those little angel and demon, and you have like the self-critic, the judgments, and then you have the compassion. It's like, yeah, let's go more towards the compassion and go through it. Love that. Lean into it. I think it's so key because society is always teaching us to just be criticized and judge ourselves and be afraid of judgments and all of that. But compassion is such beautiful, and it's a very big feminine quality I see there. Yeah, totally. Thanks, Laura, for that.
And even have compassion for the critical part of yourself.
Totally.
She's doing the best she can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. Amazing. Yeah. And I think the second one that comes like in terms of the principle is joy. And joy is one of the most underrated emotions that we could feel, but it's also the most difficult one. And joy is like this beautiful like feeling of great pleasure and happiness, and it's like we have not been taught how we can sustain it. Like when everything works in our life is great, our relationship is great, work is great, health is great, family is great, friends are great, you're like, something's gonna happen soon, and we're just like go back to this deficit bias like thinking, and just like thinking when the next shoe will drop, instead of like really staying in this feeling of joy. And I think that's why like the principle is called cultivating that joy, because it's not something that is innate within us, but at the same time we have been created and our soul is here to experience joy and to experience pleasure, no matter what that means to you. And for me, like pleasure is so key. It's like how you can create little pleasure in your life, like
Mhm.
doing the things that you love and that you enjoy. And that could be like, I'm just gonna sip my tea and just like watch the sunset, or just go for a walk at the beach, or just like call my bestie and just like have a conversation with her, or it could be anything. And I think like that's the beauty. It's like, how can you identify little things that add more to your daily joy while at the same time learning like to build that joy muscle so you can sustain it longer.
Joy is a choice. Really, you can cultivate it and practice that. It's like a little mini muscle there you can cultivate. I love that. So I want to move on to the third one, which is conscious choice.
Ooh.
And, that's about knowing yourself and honoring what you need. So making the choice. So, when you're self compassionate, you understand yourself, you know what brings you joy. Now you can actually make conscious choices to, like I said, joy is a choice. It's a conscious choice you can make. You can do the cultivate your compassion. That's another choice you make. So really, it's foundational. So it's for whatever you want to experience in life. It involves acknowledging your preferences to yourself and expressing them in a way that's not angry, critical, or blaming, or even like, I deserve this. No, it's like, this is what I want my life to be like. So this is my choice. There's no energy of positivity or negativity. It's power. It's pure, authentic volition, basically. It involves just expressing your love authentically. It means doing no harm to yourself or others, and honoring yourself. It brings more light into the world when you know you are important, when you're able to make a choice that's for your highest good, and you know it's for the highest good of all concerned. Because if it's good for you, it is good for others.
Yeah. And it's so key, like, and I think one of the main elements with this is giving ourselves permission, right? To have that choice and take that choice, because a lot of us, like, we live sometimes and think that everything that's happening in our life, we have to do it because that's the way it is. And I don't have any other way of how to do it. But the moment you have this conscious choice, you'll be like, okay, is this truly who I am authentically? This is truly who I want to be, and how I can consciously choose that and set the healthy boundaries and speak up in order for it to create it. So, like, yeah, that's so beautiful. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And so talking about like expressing consciously our choices, there's also like expressing our own creativity, and that's like the fourth principle, and it's one of my favorite because creativity is about, it could be anything, right? It's anything about like, as long as we are creating something new, it's like this energy that expand our mind, and we are creating something out of nothing, right? Just if you take a piece of paper and pen and just start drawing, you literally just created something out of nothing. And people always think that, oh, I am not a creative person. Oh, that means I am not a talented artist, but that has nothing to do with it. You can be creative in the kitchen. You could be creative again, like just like by playing an instrument. You could be creative just like by using like some pen and doing anything. It's really a way for just you expressing something from you. It's, and I just find it like so beautiful. Like sometimes I'll be just like sitting and then there's some sand. I'll just be drawing in the sand, right? And it's just so beautiful. And I remember like one of my friends, she will literally create a painting, and then after that, she will paint on top of it. And so she literally learned like how I can create and then let it go. Like how I
Mm.
can create again and let it go. And I'm like, oh my God, you're like building two skills in one. Just like so beautiful, like how she can do that. And so I will invite like our listeners to like how can I be creative today? Like, what is like small little things that will just like spark my creativity? And it could be anything. There's so many places where we can go and like create art or paint or do pottery or listen to music. Dancing and moving is creativity in a way. It's just different ways of how you can express yourself. And sometimes when words are difficult to say or we don't know how to say something, then express that differently. Express that through your food, through like the drawings, through your movements. And so just bring more creativity in your life. That would be my
And I
invitation.
just want to give everyone who is in a feminine body, a female body, um, we have a direct source to creation. We have the ability to create life. So let's take
True.
creativity to a whole new level of creation, creating. It's not like this talent or it has to be involved with the arts. We are constantly creating. We're creating new cells in our body. We're creating new ideas. When you raise a child, you're creating a human being, like you're developing them. That's a creative process. So think about process also and allow it to flow. And so
Yeah, and totally love that. Like, and it goes also like about creating our own businesses and creating new worlds and new communities and reshaping them and nourishing them and nurturing them.
yeah,
So it's all like connects into creativity.
new
Totally.
solutions to problems that has to come from a source of creative energy because things cannot be changed at the same level they were originally created. So that the thought, new laws, new ways of interacting with people, new perspectives, it's all very creative. So I think that's part of our principle here. So we
I
have one
love
more
it.
principle. We have one more
Yeah, the
principle.
last one. Go for it, Laura.
And that is connection and community. So we really feel whole when we're connected. And it's community is about developing and creating connections with people and also beyond people. We create connections with our cars and our homes, our nest, we call it a lot of times. So it's that connection. And as women, we do that by nature. We develop relationships with everything, even nature itself, right? We have relationships that go that bring us joy in our homes, right? Because we have a
Mhm.
beautiful piece of art or a piece of heirloom furniture that it can bring us joy just in that moment by having that relationship. So I'm talking about, yes, the people in your life and the community, but the connection, feeling connected to your life consciously. And it has a lot of benefits. The world becomes your playground. Nobody's a stranger here. You know things that you know things that you didn't think you know. When you see the world as your community, you know them because you're tapped into this connected web that we all are in of humanity. And then here's one of the beautiful things about having a community of other like-minded people within your sphere of your world is it's a support system that you can go out there in the world and always come back to your support system. So you do want to create a community of women or men or whoever it is that you feel really comfortable being in community with. So it's where you're going to
Yeah.
create your juicy relationships too. And it's foundational to feeling uh, connected to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And it's important to understand too that your community can start with just one other person. Like when we talk about community, we're not talking you need to have 10, 20, 30 people you can call and things. And it's really creating your own version of what that community means to you and what is your own definition of connection. Like what is that type of connection you're looking for and how you can ask for it and then how you can receive it and ways you can receive it for yourself. And so like those are like different ways of how you can create more connection, create your own little tribe, vibe with your tribe, how you can create from like Laura said, creating a beautiful human to creating like ideas and businesses and new solutions, or expressing yourself through like art, or just expressing yourself through your body and nonverbal communication. There is that beautiful element about also really like creating that, having that conscious choice about yourself and who you are, what you want to create authentically for yourself and for others, how you can cultivate more pleasure and joy in your life. And finally, and not the least, like how you can be self-compassionate about yourself. So those are like some really cool principles.
I wanted to invite everyone to our community. You have a community. If you don't feel like you have another community and this is all resonating with you, you're a part of our community. So stay curious about these principles. Listen to another episode. Join us on our group, and we will be back with you for another episode of The Feminine Pulse.
We will. Have to care.
Bye.
Thank you for being part of our community.
Listen to the next episode of Feminine Pulse on your favorite podcast app.
We welcome your questions and have some amazing gifts for you
at femininepulse.com.